You know that feeling when a brand new truck shifts like it's trying to prove a point? One day your 10-speed is butter. Next week it's banging a 2 to 3, hunting gears on a light hill, or doing that weird half-second pause before it actually moves when you drop it in drive. You take it in, they tell you it's normal or adaptive. Maybe they flash it once, and you're supposed to just live with it. Now fast forward to the lawsuit headlines, tech videos, and recall notices. Harsh shifting, sudden downshifts, shudder, Riemann 10R80s getting pulled back. Super Duty owners talking about 10 speeds being not if, but when. Ford finally blinked. For 2026, they didn't write a press release that says, "Our old 10-speed sucked." What they did instead was quietly kill the original 10-speed playbook and ship a new one. Updated hardware where it matters, new calibrations, and a completely different attitude about how this box should behave under real load. On paper, it's still a 10-speed. In your driveway, it's a very different animal. Tonight, I'm going to walk you through 3 things. What was actually wrong with the original 10-speed behavior? What Ford changed for 2026 that makes this effectively a new 10-speed? And how you can use that fix even if you don't own a 2026 truck yet. Because this isn't just about a gear count. It's about whether your truck feels like a confident heavy-duty tool or a nervous intern. Let's start with how the 10-speed works, simplified. There's no magic in the case. It's a clutch-to-clutch automatic with a torque converter, 10 forward ratios, a stack of clutch packs, a valve body full of solenoids, and a brain that times everything down to milliseconds. Each upshift is a handoff. One clutch lets go as another grabs. If fluid pressure, fill time, and timing are perfect, you don't feel it. If any of those 3 drift, you get the stuff you've been complaining about. Bangs and thuds on 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. Flares where revs jump before the next gear catches. Delayed engagement into drive or reverse. Weird coast-down bumps as you roll to a stop. Ford's early 10R80 and 10R140 tuning tried to do too much. It chased fuel economy numbers and drivability targets at the same time, and it did it on ultra-thin fluid that hates heat. In the lab, that worked. In real life, towing, headwinds, big tires, stop and go, it pushed the box into its awkward zones. It short-shifted and lugged to show pretty miles per gallon, then had to downshift aggressively when you asked for torque. It relied on adaptive learning to smooth out factory compromises, but no one ever taught owners that a fluid change without a proper relearn is a recipe for chaos. It masked hardware wear with software until it couldn't, which is why you'd have one magical reflash that felt great for 5,000 miles, and then right back to weird. Pile that on top of genuine defects, valve body wear, converter shudder, pump noise, harsh erratic shifts on some model years, and you got class actions and headlines. Ford could either litigate forever or change the transmission story. Now jump to 2026. Look at what Ford is actually saying about the new Super Duty and the upcoming F250/F350, updated diesel torque, and a new or recalibrated 10-speed with smoother shifts and optimized power delivery. They're not throwing the 10-speed away, but they're admitting through their actions that the old calibration hardware combo needed to die. Here's what the 2026 fix really is when you strip the marketing off it. First, they killed the old shift logic. The original 10-speed maps were obsessed with hitting EPA cycles and brochure MPG. That meant crazy early upshifts, constant hunting between 7 to 10 on light throttle, and sudden multi-gear kicks when you tapped it. For 2026, the box holds fewer, fatter gears in the middle under normal throttle, instead of dancing between all 10. Downshifts under load are preemptive and smoother, especially in tow haul. It gets into the right gear before the hill wins, not after. Lockup strategy on the torquey converter is more conservative in the problem zones where shudder and harshness used to live. You feel that as the truck finally doing what you've been yelling at it to do since 2018. Pick a gear, stay there, and act like it's on your side. Second, they tightened the adaptation rules. The early boxes would let adaptives wander all over the map trying to learn your driving. That sounds nice, until a fluid change, a towing season, or a reflash puts those learned values so far from reality that every shift is a guess. For 2026, the adaptive windows are narrower and the transmission relearns faster after a reset. The factory procedure bakes in a proper drive cycle, a sequence of light, moderate, higher load shifts to nail fill times and pressure trim early. Software is better at spotting when something is wrong enough that learning can't hide it, which means codes and limp mode come earlier instead of after months of, I guess it's normal. That is Ford quietly admitting that just let it relearn was not a strategy. It was a delay. Third, and this is big, they updated the hardware where it was weakest. Ford isn't going to print a list of every revised part, but transmission builders and service bulletins are pretty clear. Both the 10R80 and 10R140 have had internal updates over the years, drums, shells, valve bodies, converter internals, specifically aimed at the known failure points. For 2026 Super Duty, they're openly talking about a recalibrated torque shift 10-speed for smoother shifts under heavy load, paired with a revised higher output diesel that would have eaten the old calibration alive if they hadn't fixed it. Translation: new power, new torque curves, and a box that's actually built and tuned for that abuse instead of simply updated on paper. And then there's the recall nobody wants to talk about: Ford pulling back tens of thousands of remanufactured 10R80s used in repairs because quality wasn't where it needed to be. That's not just a parts story. That's the company admitting there's a right way and a wrong way to build and calibrate this design. Put all of that together and you see why I'm saying Ford killed the 10-speed. The old calibration philosophy is dead. The old just live with it service philosophy is dead. The weakest version of the hardware is being quietly phased out. The name on the case stays, the behavior doesn't. So what do you do with that if you own a 10-speed now, or you're thinking about buying a truck with one? Let's split this into 3 buckets: old 10-speed, 2026 plus 10-speed, and how to steal the fix even if your truck was built years ago. If you're in an older F-150, Explorer, Bronco, Mustang, or pre-26 Super Duty with a 10-speed, your transmission is not doomed. But you cannot treat it like a 4-speed from 1999. You win by doing 3 things. Force the 2026 mindset into your service. When you do a fluid change or repair, just drain and fill is over. Your work order needs to say, warm to the correct temp window, set fluid level with the engine running per spec, reset adaptives with a factory-level tool. Complete the drive cycle, a series of 1 to 10 upshifts at light and moderate throttle and proper coast downs. If the shop can't tell you how they'll do that, they don't get to touch your 10-speed. Drive it like the 2026 calibration expects. Stop lugging at 1,400 revolutions per minute up hills for miles per gallon. Use tow haul anytime you're towing, climbing grades, or driving in heat, even empty in the mountains. Let it sit in 7th or 8th where the converter can stay locked and the clutches stay happy. The new maps are designed for that. You can mimic it with your right hand and mode button. Protect the weak links, thin ULV fluid, dirty cooling stacks, and wheel/tire/gear combos that make the box hunt are what kill these things. Change fluid before it's cooked by towing season, not after. Keep the radiator/intercooler/transcooler stack clean from the back side at least once or twice a year. If you jump to 35 seconds without a re-gear, accept that the gearbox will hunt and get hot. If you want it to act like 2026, fix the axle ratio. If you're looking at a 2026 Super Duty or future 10-speed Ford, the game changes slightly. You're buying into a transmission that has more torque to deal with, smarter calibration out of the box, less tolerance for "I don't believe in maintenance." The upside? If you use it the way Ford finally tuned it to be used, it's going to feel boringly good in the way you've always wanted: predictable, smooth, and decisive. The downside? If you keep treating it like the old one, dealer quick lube, no adaptive reset, never cleaning the stack, you will still be the one posting in forums about weird shifts at 60,000. Here's the part that matters for your wallet: the money difference between old 10-speed thinking and the 2026 fix over 5 years. Say you do 15,000 miles a year, split between commute, weekend hauling, and some towing. 2 services in that period: old way, generic fluid change at 60,000, no reset, no drive cycle, $350. Transmission never feels right, starts to slip or bang, and at 90 to 100,000, you're looking at a $4,000 to $6,000 rebuild or replacement. New way, 2026 mindset. 2 proper services at 40,000 and 80,000, ULV fluid, adaptives reset, drive cycle completed, cooling stack cleaned. Maybe $500 to $600 each with everything done right. Call it $1,000 to $1,200 total. Box feels clean the whole time. Your odds of a big bill drop through the floor. That's your choice. Pay about $1,000 up front over 5 years to keep it in its happy zone, or roll the dice on a multi-thousand-dollar event later. Let's wrap this with something you can literally read off your phone at the service counter or tape to your toolbox. If you own a Ford 10-speed today, here's your 2026 Fix Playbook. Fluid every 40 to 50,000 if you tow, haul, or see a lot of heat. 60,000 absolute max for light use. Always use the correct ULV fluid. No substitutes. On every service, warm to spec, set level at temp, reset adaptives, and complete the drive cycle. Clean the cooling stack from the back side at least once a year, twice if you tow. Use tow haul on grades and in heat, even empty, so it stops hunting and lives in the right gears. If you go to larger tires, re-gear or accept that you're paying for hunting and heat. At the first sign of harshness that wasn't there before a service, assume procedure, not, "That's just how they are." Ford didn't kill the 10-speed by switching to some magic new gearbox. They killed the old excuses. They all do that. It's adaptive. It'll relearn. The 2026 Fix is simple. Better calibration, smarter use, and service done the way this transmission actually works, not the way we wish it did. If you bring that mindset back to your older 10-speed, you'll get most of the benefit without waiting for a new truck. And if you buy a 2026 or newer, you'll be one of the owners who gets to say what Ford wanted people saying all along. Yeah, it's a 10-speed, and it just works.